I was in a closet, locked for 4 hours with people who I would consider almost family, crying and weeping on me, begging for their lives. I understand what it's like to text my parents, "Goodbye, I might never ever get to see you again. I love you."
That's Alfonso Calderon there following the shooting tragedy at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida last February. The March for Our Lives movement was created by the students to take a stand and support gun violence legislation.
Well, now those students are on the road for the March for Our Lives Road to Change Tour. Jacyln Corin, Alfonso Calderon, and Bria Smith are part of the movement. Thank y'all so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You were sort of watching yourself deliver that speech. Did it bring you back? Did you have a moment there?
Yeah, I mean, for a second, all I could think about is I've really put on some weight. No, I'm just kidding. No, it does bring you back. It does bring you back to those, I guess, more sensitive times where everything was so tender and so fresh.
And now you are taking this call to action on the road. You've been doing this bus tour, 75 stops. It started on June 15th in Chicago. It's going to end up in Newtown, Connecticut. What has this journey been like for you?
I mean, after the march on March 24th, there was so much energy and love and compassion that day, and it was a day of calling for action. But we would be hypocrites if we didn't actually execute that action and travel the country and talk to people face to face about this issue to perpetuate the conversation in all these different communities.
What's the response been since y'all have been out doing this?
Well, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I joined the Road to Change Tour when they came to my spot. And my response has been very positive because I come from a community where our platform for our voices are not being heard. Like, our stories of gun violence are being overlooked by media, washed away with different stories. So my responses have been like, Bria, thank you for being the platform for our voices. Like, lots of Black and brown individuals back in my inner city do not have the chance or opportunity to speak about their injustices and seek the justice that they deserve. So this is a great opportunity to bring attention to the issues that people face in different impoverished areas that I come from.
Seeing them then moved you to want to be a voice as well for change.
Of course, because I've been fighting for gun legislation in my community for years before the movement. So a tragedy kind of morphed itself into like my reality, and I was able to jump on this opportunity and speak for those who don't have a voice.
And Kit had asked, but what has the response been like? I mean, I know it hasn't always been easy in certain communities. You've encountered some resistance, Alfonso.
Well, I mean, absolutely. And the one thing that I will take away, no matter how many counter-protesters or people who disagree with us, every community has just been loving, open arms. I mean, the sweetest people on earth live in Moorhead, Minnesota, and I wouldn't have known, or Standing Rock, North Dakota, and Bismarck. And there have been times where even the mayor of the town that we're in will counter-protest what we're saying, but we still feel welcomed.
I feel like the conversation, though, there's been some great conversations, even with, or especially with the protesters. What have been some highlights, Jacyln?
I mean, there are always protesters that bring their guns to their events, our events, sorry, if there's open carry. But honestly, we do have very amazing conversations with people that disagree with us, because there are pieces of legislation and policy that everyone can get behind, like universal background checks, like disarming domestic abusers, like funding for CDC research on gun violence. And people always think that we're trying to take your guns away, but that's really not the case. And it really takes that conversation to build that bridge between the two sides.
You've said that you've even encountered, NRA members who are on board with the changes that you're proposing.
Yeah.
Right?
80% of the NRA members actually agree with universal background checks. Over 80. So there's a lot more commonalities than you think.
Why can't we get legislation to change then? Where is the disconnect? What's happening, Alfonso?
I mean, honestly, I think the big disconnect is that the two sides don't want to agree. As I was saying before, when we were in Bismarck, North Dakota, we met up with the leader of the counter-protest, and he actually agreed with most of the things we had to say. And then when he told his followers, everyone just started booing. The thing is, this country is really divided to its core. And what we're trying to do is unite each other, I mean, through connecting with the youth especially, to get our voices out. Because if we're all voting, then the people in office will actually represent what we want and our ideals.
Do you sense a change on the road? Can you feel change coming?
Oh yeah, 100%. We're building a network of young people so we can unite together against one flawed system.
And you all are going to be seniors this year.
Yeah.
Soon you're going to be voters. And how important is that part of the message as well?
Well, I'm pre-registered.
Yes.
I'll come out and say it. And honestly, it's exciting. You know, everybody's always excited about being 18, being legal. Well, I'm just glad I can vote.
And I like to call that your vote is like your voice and your power, and you're able to use your power to reform different things that you are like supportive in. And a lot of people in my community do not vote because they think that their votes don't matter. Well, votes do matter. Like if you get out there and educate yourself on who you're voting for and elect morally just leaders to reflect who you want and represent like who you are as a person, your vote is your power and you can reform so many different things.
And everyone watching today, they can register to vote on marchforourlives.com. And if they want to follow up with our tour and what we're going to be doing after the summer, they can text CHANGE to 97779.
Jacyln, Alfonso, Bria, thank you so much. I think our
So
future is
powerful.
so bright with other students like you. Good luck with your senior year.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what y'all do next.
Young people like you are changing the world. The March for Our Lives Road to Change tour continues. And check out the website to find out where they're headed next. It's tonight in Los Angeles, though.